The 2023 season didn't start the way that Hamilton would have wanted it to start, and even though he is 20 points ahead of his teammate in the Drivers' Championship, one thing is for sure. Russell has been able to outperform him in pure race and qualifying pace. However, it seems like the current scenario in Mercedes is all part of a huge mastermind plan by Hamilton, as a 7-time world champion is trying different dirty tactics on Russell to take over the number 1 spot in the team yet again. Whether these will work or not, time will tell, but one thing is for sure. Hamilton has shown yet again that he is a genius, both on and off the track. The previous season has been one that Mercedes has been able to learn a lot from, especially when it comes to the design of its car. In a data-collecting limited season, there isn't much hope that you can do something good other than try to improve bit by bit. So with this scenario in mind, there isn't too much tension going on between the drivers. Russell has been the most positive sight that we've been able to witness in the sport, as he was able to outperform Hamilton in his first year with the team. While many have written about the ability of Russell to drive troublesome cars much better than Hamilton does, with the 7-time world champion not being accustomed to this for quite some time in his long-lasting career, Russell's dominance continued in the 2023 season as well. He's been able to outperform Hamilton in the qualifying stages of the current 3 tracks, and hadn't it been for the DNF due to reliability issues in Melbourne, he would have fought with his teammate for that P2 spot. One thing is for sure, Russell is here to stay, and he's been making solid statements about being the future leader of the team. But it seems like Hamilton knows what's going on all along, and isn't budging a single bit. On the contrary, the 7-time world champion is letting the younger Briton have his way, while also being the spokesperson of the team, just to wear and tear him down, and then he would be able to claim what is rightfully his, the number 1 spot in the team. Before we go into this matter deeper, make sure to like our video, subscribe to our channel, and turn on the notification post. Although Russell has yet to prove that he can be the appointed leader and be the type of driver that Hamilton is, more precisely being made of the same cloth as a multi-world champion, he is making a strong case for himself. And if Hamilton hates one thing, that is losing to a teammate. So it is quite unusual how he isn't throwing shots at Russell constantly, with his colleague and teammate having a better go with both the W13 and the W14. This is where the dirty games of Hamilton come to light, and according to Tom Clarkson, this is all part of a huge plan that is currently being applied by Hamilton, as the FIA press conference and F1 Nation podcast host went on to add. In the press conference in Australia, after qualifying, they'd qualified 2nd and 3rd in Melbourne. Max, of course, on pole, and every time a question was posed to both of the Mercedes drivers, Lewis was quite happy for George to answer the question. He almost became the spokesperson for the team in that press conference, and I was interested as to why Lewis was happy to just sit back and let that happen. I don't know whether he's sort of keeping his powder dry. Is he sort of trying to give him a sort of false hope of being the dominant person, and then he's going to reality hit him hard where it matters most of the stopwatch later on? Quite frankly, Hamilton did take some cheap shots at his team, as Mercedes didn't seem to listen to him when it mattered most, the side pod design. So when Hamilton talked about the narrow cockpit issue, one that made him feel like he was sitting on top of the front wheels, Wolff's statement that when a 7-time world champion speaks, the team ought to listen, only went to show that there was a change in the narrative in the team overnight. But Hamilton has found Russell to be a tough nut to crack, one that he hasn't been able to go through since 2016. This was the last season that Hamilton lost to a teammate, and in his rookie season, he went up against a 2-time world champion in Alonso and showed him who the boss is at McLaren. Although both of them finished with the same amount of points, the fact that Alonso was outperformed by a rookie only goes to show that this rookie won't be an ordinary one-show driver. Why am I saying all of this stuff? Because it is quite unusual how Hamilton has been outperformed by Russell in 2022 by 35 points, with this trend continuing for the 2023 campaign as well. And yet, the 7-time world champion is doing nothing but praising his teammate and not bashing his team for not giving him enough of a competitive car. Yes, the statements that he made were strong in this matter, but then he quickly apologized for the words that were directed towards the engineers, as it was a bit insulting to offend someone for not doing their job properly when Brackley was probably overloaded with engineers that worked overtime to bring the W14 to where it is right now. Damon Hill had something to say about this matter, with the 1996 world champion adding, "We drivers are competitive, and we are kind of political as well. You have to be aware of rising forces or rising empires within the team. George has to make himself a valued asset of the team, and he's obviously doing that really well. But at the same time, he's the one that has to do all the hard work. I think Lewis doesn't have to. Mercedes know what they've got with Lewis, and they know that given half a sniff of a chance, he's going to be back on top form and can deliver those extraordinary races. They know George can do that too, but he has yet to prove all that. Furthermore, Damon Hill pointed out one situation that many fans seem to forget, or not take seriously. George Russell is the president of the GPDA, or the Grand Prix Drivers Association, the body that includes all of the drivers on the grid. Therefore, his responsibility goes well beyond racing, and sometimes all of this can take a huge physical and mental toll on a driver. If you've been keeping a close eye on Russell, he has been doing his job very decently as president of this body, which has been highlighted by Hill himself. This only means one thing: he is investing a lot of energy, as he should, but that may take away his mental focus when the race time comes. Now, with this in mind, how could Hamilton snatch away the #1 title in the team yet again after facing competition for the first time in 6 years? One thing is for sure: he'll wait for Mercedes to build a championship-winning car. The times that I mentioned earlier in this video when Hamilton had a decent amount of competition were times when the respective teams, McLaren and Mercedes, were fighting for championships. Now, although Mercedes made a huge leap from where we saw them in Bahrain, and they are yet to bring a new design to the W14, one that is supposed to boost the performance out of the 2023 Challenger, it's definitely far from winning championships with how it currently stands. Once a car is brought to the perfect sweet spot to which Hamilton would want it to be brought, he wouldn't waste a second in pushing Russell out of the way for as long as he continues to race. Although he is yet to renew his contract with Mercedes, the 38-year-old hasn't been very positive when it comes to racing in his deep 40s, something that Alonso is currently doing, and something that we'd love to witness with Hamilton as well. Although Russell is a future for the team, there is no doubt that he is yet to prove that he can bring the same value that Hamilton has brought to the team since he joined them in 2013. And if there is one thing that we can definitely confirm about Hamilton, it's that nothing matters more to him than the 8th record-breaking championship. This has probably been the only reason why Hamilton hasn't retired after the controversial 2021 season finale, and the last person that he would let stand in his way to this goal is his teammate. Wolff has spoken about this as well, saying that when Mercedes can fight for the championship, the respect between Hamilton and Russell will be out of the window, just like that. All of this means one thing: we are yet to experience drama at Mercedes, and this may turn into something that would shape the entire future of the team. What are your thoughts on this matter? Do you think that the mind games being played by Hamilton are founded ones? Or do you think that the 7-time world champion just doesn't have it in himself anymore to be as competitive as he used to be until 2020? Let us know in the comments below, and after you do that, make sure to watch our latest video that goes over Alpine's chances of fighting for wins and podiums soon.